All right, good.
You ready? Good morning. Monday, May the 23rd, 2022, and it's 9 o'clock, and this is a special Commissioner Court hearing today. We're going to call the meeting to order, and we do have a quorum here and acknowledging the guests. We opened it up for a public hearing, and I see, Mr. Powell, you have one, but you want to wait till we get to number 4 item? Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. That's the only thing I have. So we're going to go on and number 1, to deliberate and consider action on the following items. Number 1, to discuss an appropriate approved budget amendment for the quarter payout for the alternative dispute resolution of accounts of mediation center account. And if y'all would come by up there so we can actually hear, they have a problem hearing us if you're not standing up there.
Okay. I'm not asking for any money. I just need some money moved. The district clerk, county clerk, and the JPs collect these court fees for this alternative dispute resolution fund. So, and we have a mediation center that's located in Jasper that these people can use instead of going to court. They can go and, try to agree on it or whatever without having much fees. And we're, as a county, are required to send those fees to the mediation center. These fees are collected monthly. Well, I guess they collect y'all but they're turned into me monthly. And then I used to send some of it to the state, but now it's since we have a mediation center and we're in that with Sabine County, St. Augustine County, and Jasper County, and we're all in agreement, and we send it to that center. So we're going to get back. I'm going to do it every quarter. I'm going to pay those fees to every quarter, and I'm just asking that Sherry would move those fees, and it has to be done, as I understand, with a budget amendment, to move those from one fund to the other because there's not any money budgeted there. But it needs to stay open and have money in it because I collect those fees monthly. Fees may vary each month. We may collect $1,000, we may collect $10, and I'll send them in every quarter to that mediation center because the judge has attended a meeting on this mediation center. They used to send invoices or call the previous auditor about when they needed the money. So it's something that we should have been doing all along, and I just figured out when I went to do my e-filing for my civil fees this year. So, but that's all I'm asking for and I've spoke with Sherry about it. So I'm just needing y'all to approve her to do that budget amendment to just move the money from these lines that the money's in the lines where I collected it. I just need to move to into a line that I can pay it out of.
So is this something we want to have a budget amendment each time you move that money, or
well, I'm asking, can this one be the one that can be for now on? Or do y'all want me to come every quarter?
You don't want to have to come to court every time.
Because those fees are collected, it'd just be a different amount each time that Sherry would have to move. But I was hoping that we could use this for the permanent one, say giving me access for her to do that. To move the money each time.
Well, it's gonna show up on our, it's gonna show up on our spreadsheet.
It's to put it on the budget anyway.
Well, it's gonna show up on our spreadsheet every month
Yeah, it's
anyway.
gonna be, it's gonna be put on the budget.
And it'll be where I sent that money, where she paid the bill, where I sent the check to the each time. If, sometimes it may not be anything collected, but I'm just going to do it every quarter because that's when I do my rest of my quarterly reports.
Does it have a certain fee every time they show up over there?
I don't know what their charge over there.
That's what I'm saying. Do you have enough money?
Yes.
I think it starts out at $100
Oh,
per.
I haven't gotten that part. I don't know about how they handle their stuff there at that center. I just know what.
So there must be some,
We've actually, there's a accounts payable line that has been set up all this time. These fees are just the new fees that go to that went into effect pay September, but we're applying in January. It's why this is changing right now. There was a line set up and it's got like $6,000 that I'm sending also, but it don't have to be, it's in an accounts payable number, a payable number. It's just where the line, money goes in that line and then it goes right back out. So we don't have to do anything to that one, the budget on that.
So how come these new fees can't be put in that line item just like you said? And if we won't have to go back to the budget. Liz, you have some input on that?
Well, when we originally set that up, we set it up, it was only one office collected, but we set it up in our payable. So when you, in other words, when you collect it, it's going in, and then you pay it out of that fund. So it tells you all the time what you got in there, what needs to be paid out. But I think when these new fees come out, we, I don't think Jigger was sure where they were supposed to go. They're putting a lot of stuff on it if we had to pay it. And this has just come up recently. So, I mean, if you put it in a payable, you could just turn around and pay it out. For the new stuff, because the payable doesn't have the budget. Because if you collect it, then you know it's due to somebody.
Because these fees are divided up, there's several other ones that's divided up from these on here.
So you're actually collecting more money now than what you was? Or,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So Sherry, I'm asking you, is there some way we could do this without a budget amendment every time she started to pay that?
Like they were paid before, we can do that.
So we'd have to change all these on the report.
Yes.
All of y'all.
Or we could also, every month, list budget amendments on our report and bring it up if we have budget amendments. Like a lot of counties do that. They have line items on their agenda for budget amendments, and we can bring them up if need be.
Whatever how you want us to do it. I just
So
want to get that
So that would be a good thing too, when people try to follow our budget amendments, have a line item on the agenda every month.
I don't mind coming every quarter to do this. I don't mind. And if I was not here to do it, then one of my girls could come up here.
Then if it need be, then it would be
Yeah, we're
Budget
just-
amendment.
Yes, and we'll have all the budget amendments that need to be done next.
all right.
Let us do it this way for this time, and then we'll work on it to see how we can do it
Next quarter.
for a better solution.
All right. Hear a motion?
I make that motion that we approve budget amendment for this quarterly, payment this time and going forward, have a budget amendment item on the, standard on the agenda.
I second.
Motion been made, Mr. White, and second, Mr. Benson. We approve this budget amendment. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same, unopposed, carry none, pass. Number 2 is discuss the appropriate approved resolution accepting funds award from the Texas Courthouse Preservation Program. Ms. Liz?
Good morning.
Good morning.
On it.
Y'all remember, I came to y'all, well, not with this, but about this grant back in October, November. Since then, in the past few weeks, we've met with the Historical Commission, and they took our draft scope of work and estimated cost. So as you know, we've gone out for procurement for architect engineer, which those are due Wednesday evening. So we'll be scoring those in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, to move forward with this, they requested a resolution from Commissioners Court accepting the proposed award. We started out with $1,100,000, right? No,
Yeah.
$1,100,000.
Yes.
And so the estimated total project now, because they put an estimated additional funds is $1,122,087. which gives us an estimated total project of $2,416,205. So that's what the resolution is reflecting, and this is for the repairs and upgrades, the moisture problems that we've got. It includes the roof also. They're putting everything into it. And then they're going to work with us on the county side of the funds that, because, you know, we got some insurance money for the roof. The Historical Commission has been involved in that. But since it's a historical building, they want all of this encompassed together. So that's why the cost, that's part of why the cost went up. But we have some other issues going on once we get into it. So this is to accept it, accept the award. And then
They're going to award us the 2 million.
that's the estimated total project cost. And that's where we're going to start at. And once we get back with them, with the Historical Commission and our architect engineer, there will be several meetings to where they're going to go over everything and get a definite cost, but they're estimating at this amount right now. And anytime there's any changes throughout the grant, we'll come back to court if anything needs to be changed.
They're going to get the drainage on the bottom fixed.
So everything, there is a bunch of stuff that they're going to get into.
So every time they take down a wall, they're gonna reevaluate it, right?
I really don't know how they're going to do that with the
You
engineering.
know, Jenny?
They're going to, because they got to look at, I think they're going to be looking at electrical, the walls,
I know, once it
Moisture.
moves out the lower floor and it moves up into the second floor, is that gonna be a different, are they gonna amend it, or are you just gonna stop?
Well, we're going to evaluate it first.
Right.
Yeah,
And see, this is an estimate that,
This is for the first floor?
this is the whole courthouse.
They don't know what's wrong.
no,
So, and it, talking with, I cannot remember that man's name, the man from the Historical Commission,
James.
he added a percentage for the cost of, you know, the higher cost of materials and that kind of thing. So we did add some increases, some unknowns, I guess is what he was calling them.
Let's get the ball rolling so we get repairs going.
Once we get our engineer architect selected, and we'll bring that to Commissioners Court, then we'll contact the Historical Commission, and then they'll set up a meeting for us to, you know, what's next. And they're gonna be with us every step of the way.
Okay.
Are you gonna be the one talking to them? Who's gonna be talking to them?
John's involved too,
Okay.
Judge, me, the engineers, and
Once we
One-
hire the architect, then we'll be in close correspondence.
Yes.
John and I and Liz will all be
yes,
probably under his guidance to a certain extent. Plus he'll be in contact with the Historical Commission. Am I right, John? Okay. Here's a motion.
I make the motion that we approve the resolution accepting the funding award for the Texas Courthouse Preservation Program.
I second.
Motion been made, Mr. White, and second, Mr. Benson, to approve the resolution accepting the fund award from the Texas Courthouse Preservation Program. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, opposed. Hearing none, pass. Number 3, discuss the appropriate approve the source of fund, statement of verification of the fund award from the Texas Historical Courthouse Preservation Program.
this is the other document that's required to be submitted to the Historical Commission that they sent to us. It is just saying that Commissioners Court agrees with the estimated total project cost of $2,416,205. The minimum local share is $194,118. And we are, Commissioners Court is agreeing that they agree with this estimated cost at this time and that we'll have the funds available for the match.
What ratio is that, sis? I'm sorry.
It was,
It's gonna be at the end of the job.
they
It's gonna be at the
withhold,
very end.
yeah,
It's somewhere.
it's, is it like 7%? I can't remember the percentage. I knew y'all were gonna ask me that.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Have they got a timeline on
Did he say like 3 years?
Yeah,
that?
it's
least.
Years.
3 years?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's about 3 years. I can't, what he told me.
Do we have a storm?
As soon as we get this to him and we choose an architect engineer, we will start.
that'll
First
start.
thing is the scope, is getting the scope of work, detailed scope of work, and then they'll have plans and all that. So
So
that's
you're
what
talking
it's
end of the year.
probably. They're ready, the historical commission's ready to get busy. They are ready to get busy. They had some changeover within when we first started talking to them and sending paperwork in. And we weren't getting any response. And I don't know, did you call or they called the judge? I can't remember. Or John called them to find out what was going on. And they're like, oh, those people aren't here anymore. That's why we weren't hearing back from them when I'd send emails to them. So, but anyway, we got it going now.
All right, here a motion.
I make that motion, Judge.
Second.
Motion been made by Mr. Benson, second by Mr. Bomby. We approve the source of funding, statement for verification of the funding award from Texas Courthouse Preservation Program. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Hearing none, pass. Okay, number 4, and Mr. Powell, you got 5 minutes to say what you need to say.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak, Judge Weeks. So line item number 4 is an important item for the south end of the county, probably more than any other. I think there are some other areas, but the properties that were bought in the buyout program have not been managed to date. I contacted Judge Weeks and he was so gracious to take care of one that was a hazardous situation there at church. But the reason I wanted to address the court this morning was to ask you, when you form some sort of guidelines for maintaining those properties, to be vague in those details, because all of the properties are going to differ to some degree. You know, if you have a buyout property that's in a rural area, there's not another house within 20 miles, you don't want to have a stipulation that matches that of one of the residential neighborhoods. So I would just ask you to take that into consideration, maybe leave the wording vague to say maintain at the discretion of, to meet those adjoining properties or neighborhoods, and to certainly eliminate hazardous situations. And then along those same lines, the county has turned one property that was bought into the buyout program into a holding area for county fill material. That has created a flooding situation on an adjoining property of a homeowner. And I would ask the court this morning, as you address this line item, to also address removing that fill material from that buyout property, because it is, in a rain event, it is flooding the yards of the adjoining property owners. And it's a large amount of fill material. I don't know how many tons, but it's everything Precinct 4 has. So again, I ask you to be somewhat vague in that description of how we maintain those properties, leave some discretion there. And then I ask you also to take whatever action is needed to remove that large amount of fill material from the buyout property that is causing flooding on a neighboring property. Thank you, Judge Williams.
Thank you. Okay, number 4, discussion of appropriate, determine what upkeep the county is going to do about the lots after the home have been demolished from the buyout program. These lots should have may cause depreciation or nuisance to the neighboring property owners. Mr. Jean would be here this morning, but his wife's having eye surgery as we talk. So I told him I'd present this to the court, and I think we should look into it further, exactly what the grant buyout stipulation was, and Liz, and you may help us look that up to determine exactly the wording that we're going to have to abide by. And I'm not sure, I know it says green space and what that means. Maybe somebody else would have to.
If I could, Your Honor, so I have spoken with Greg Wiley and read some of that literature, and it says that it would be maintained by the county. His interpretation was that it would not present any risk to adjoining property owners. Very vague and maintained.
Well, again, I think we would actually have to go back to the grant itself, and because we're talking about some issues that would probably devalue the property next to it, and we would certainly want to go with the guidelines of the grant. My opinion. That's just my opinion. We got 3 other commissioners here, you know, I'm sure got opinion also.
We must follow the guidelines. That's a must.
Greg is the one that handles that. Greg's the one that handles that.
He's one of the ones that handle it. We also got Trailer and Associates also.
We'll look those up, because the TDM grant, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty, just say green space, basically. It just said green space. I can't remember what else it said right now, but the newer grants, but I will look those up and make a copy of each one of the buyouts that we've done. And, because we got the Harvey and we got the 2016 also. So I'll look those up and present those. I'll send those to y'all before next quarter.
I'd like you.
Because I want to get it exact, what we
I
have.
would like you to look that up and send it to Ms. Courtney for her review and for her recommendation.
I don't think the court would know. That's going to be a pretty good task, but what you're talking about. If you're talking about manicuring those properties down there, if we can, I don't know how, that's not what you're talking about.
No, so I'm asking you to be vague. There's properties in rural areas that basically will require no action. I'm asking the court not to go to the degree that, you know, you manicure, but I don't want you to put that in the words. There are areas where they need to be manicured, maintained. I was just asking you to be vague, and I think the judge's approach is the right approach. Looking back at the grant, I do ask you to also consider this morning the fill material on the buyout program, on that buyout property.
You know, that's it. I don't want to think about that.
I'm not aware of where you're talking about. I'm assuming the precinct 4 stockyard or something, stock material or.
Is that material, it was across from the sub courthouse in Deweyville, the old sub courthouse. And I think when that lease agreement was terminated, it was moved onto the Stewart's property, which was a buyout property. And the Caswells live next to that. And Mr. Caswell has spoken to me and said that, you know, it is creating an arrangement. He just said, can you get it opened up where the water will flow off my property? There's a mountain next to me now, you know, so I mean, I know you're in that area, you can see it right there next to it, visible from the roadway, and I have pictures of it, like, it's a large mountain.
I know we had that on the east side of 252, is it 272 or whatever it is? And you're saying we moved it across the road?
It was, yes, sir, like the sub courthouse was, it was on the east side, and I understand that lease agreement was terminated. And I don't know if it was terminated, I just know it was terminated, and it was moved onto that buyout property. And the it's right on the fence line of the homeowner, and so it's very good.
I would recommend no action taken on this one until we get further investigation.
So you're actually talking about 3 or 4 buyout programs, right?
Yes. At least 2.
And I'll also give a list of the properties that we, that are out in the woods. Because the majority of them are out.
I just don't know how we're going, I wish we would have had this conversation before we done the buyout program. But I don't know how Bubba's gonna afford to take his budget that he's gonna receive and work on buyout property and still do what he needs to do.
So Commissioner Pommy, there's some properties that Judge Ashton was actually having to work with law enforcement on now because those properties are being lived in to some degree and just stripped, and there's detriment to the neighborhood. There's no trespassing signs, there's no anything. There's nothing to tell someone driving down the road that that's a county-owned property. She actually recommended that the county put up some no trespassing signs to quickly, try to discourage folks from going in those areas, as the county would be liable if someone went in and got hurt.
Just the ones that the structures.
Why they're not tore down? Are we waiting on them now?
We're working on a hard heavy right now.
Okay, all right.
Right now. Now, up on River Road, I think, at one time, we put property of Newton County.
We did.
No trust, but they all have disappeared. People
They've all
pull them up,
disappeared.
people pull them up, take them. But, I mean, I guess we could try that.
I'm just saying, once you start something, you have to continue doing it.
But
It all
I guess
costs money.
basically to keep
And it
the
all
trees
costs
down.
money. I mean, every bit of that costs money, it costs fuel, it costs labor, it costs sign.
Well, let me get the grant,
I think we should have thought about that before we raised our hand and done the buyout program. We might have should have analyzed.
Well, it says, I know it says to go back to green space, really can't do anything with it. But let me get those, I'll send them. to
Because we all
Courtney.
got those neighborhoods, we all got that
So,
buyout
with
program.
that being said, when it says you can't do anything with it, can the county legally use it for?
Yeah, the county can use it for different things, and it's a list of things it can be used for. But I'll get all that. and
I mean,
send
I'm
it.
in the same situation that I've been saying on 14, 16. I mean, I'm in the same situation as what precinct 4 is in. And I can tell you right now, I don't have the means to go down to 17 Sands and keep that manicured or cleaned down or anything else. Now, we have tore down all the houses. All the structures are now gone down there.
We've just got,
I'm not trying to make a big deal out
on
of
the
it.
15
I
and
just know
16, those old
I mean,
brands.
it
we
is
just
a
got
big deal.
Maybe 5 left, I think, maybe 5.
I just wonder how we're gonna maintain it with 3 people.
Well, let's get the rules, and I'll send them to Courtney, and we'll let her look over it. And
Do you remember anything, Paul, about that?
Now, that is that maintaining part is primarily for safety for joining properties, but also not to have trash and other regulation there. But for maintaining it and making it like a lawn, that's the application.
Right.
The one document that I found in those buyouts was exactly what for us said. Perfect.
So it's gonna fall back to whatever we want to do to it.
And on, Judge, when you're looking at this further, what the county can use this property for, I know that in the school areas, you can't haul curbing in that would displace water on the property. That's the situation the county has. So I ask you, even if there's stipulations that says we can use that, it's cause and detriment next door, we need to address that. I asked you.
We don't know why Commissioner Thompson did that. We don't know why Commissioner Thompson did that. You know, we don't know that. We'll have to.
Yeah, the reason for doing it, irregardless of the impact.
In fact, we probably don't know, we didn't even know it was
I
there.
don't know what's talking about.
Right, and that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, we don't know what's talking about.
But is there a way to do that, or you could put like property in the county or something? Because they are kind of payments, I mean, they're pushing wires out of.
We can do anything that this county wants to do as long as we can figure out how we're gonna do it and how we're gonna pay for it. Because Liz is right, up on River Road, I don't know, I guess somebody that done the buyout on River Road went through there and put all the no trespassing sign. There was quite a few of them up there. You can go up there right now and they're all gone. Every one of them. So I don't know how you're gonna, it's a good idea. I'm not saying that we shouldn't try to do something. But I think everybody's working on a pretty shoestring budget, and we gotta figure out how we're gonna do it, and I'm all in.
Well, in the past, they took pictures of what the house looked like,
Yeah.
and you're not supposed to touch anything, and they would come back, and, someone who was already collected money, and they come back and said, where's your contract back in the first property, correct? It's a contract, so what?
And we don't know who's going to tear stuff out.
No.
I heard rumors about all these different people, the sheriff's office and this and that, but none of us have time to sit by these houses until.
Right, but if the signs there, they'll let law enforcement know that those as well.
Thank you. It's a great discussion we're having, but nobody that's recording and everything, y'all can be heard. We're not up here about mics. Yeah. But this is all being recorded as live for the public, but they can't actually hear y'all.
So to reiterate, to back his statement up, if you're gonna speak, come up here where everybody can hear, because we've got a pretty good audience out there. It's not in here. We can hear you, but they can't. So anyway, I would recommend no action on that item number 4, to further investigation. Number 5, discuss and appropriate approve the lease agreement between Newton County Precinct 2 and Red Watson Trucking for temporary office building. Mr. White.
Okay, back in the spring of last year, Commissioner Court decided that the commissioners needed secretaries because of all the guidelines around the grants and changing programs with TDM and all those different things. So we agreed that we all needed secretaries. And so at that time, I did not have a place to house a secretary. So on March the 10th, number 4 agenda, I presented it to the court, and we went out and checked the going cost of renting we talked about a 10 by 26 office building, and the going price was from $1,200 to $1,400 a month. Red Watson Trucking, they had, I guess, got word of it and come to me and informed me that they had a building that meet that description, which it was. It was a very nice office building to house myself and my secretary. And so we didn't know at the time. We were in the process of trying to relocate, as most of us know, aware that the barn for Precinct 2 has never been in Precinct 2. So we wanted to relocate to Precinct 2. And besides the barn that we had over there, the old barn's falling down, and we got watermarks every time we get a rain like we got this weekend. We had watermarks of about 4 inches. The roof was leaking, and it just spent. But anyhow, we didn't know how long that we were going to need to rent that office building, so we made an agreement with them that we would pay them at the end of the lease, because we couldn't predict how long it was going to be. It ended up being 13 months, and I wanted to go ahead and finish up on Precinct 2 and take care of this issue. So that's what we're asking this morning, that we go ahead and approve the lease agreement.
Okay, hear a motion?
Make a motion.
That's second.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer, and second by Mr. Benson, that we approve the lease agreement between Newton County Precinct 2 and Red Watson Trucking for temporary office building. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Same sign opposed. Hear none, pass. Number 6, to discuss and approve the budget amendment to move $16,835 to the fund 032-613-406 for the rent. Mr. White.
Okay, on the, at the time I had the funds and we didn't have a specific lease or account open, any funds in that account. And Ms. Sherry informed me that we didn't have any, the appropriate fund for taking care of that issue. So she has informed us what form that we need, and the fund 032-613-460, which is a rent and lease fund. And I'm asking that we make a budget amendment so that we can pay the lease.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You done now.
Yes.
Motion been made by Mr. Palmer, second by Mr. Benson, that we approve the budget amendment to move $16,835 to the fund 032-613-460. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Hearing none, pass.
Thank you.
Number 7 is to request the update from Sherry Moore, auditor, on the process and following the procure property coverage for Newton County on or before July 1st, 2022. And Courtney.
Yes, sir. In the meantime, Ms. Sherry and I talked some on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to try to resolve this issue. But before the deadline for the agenda, I want to make sure and get it on there so we could take any action we needed to today. So getting it on the agenda was precautionary. I would think we could probably skip number 7 and just go straight to 8 and get an update from Ms. Moore on the process.
Okay, our office went out for bids back in April, as you know, and we received no bids. The court approved for us to go back out for rebids, and we're currently in the process of doing that at this time. Okay, the deadline for having the bid packages submitted is May 31st, 2022. We've reached out to numerous agents and that were listed on the comptroller's office and have provided each agent contacted with a bid package. Several of these agents have reached back out to us, and they're not going to be able to make the deadline, so we're asking an extension on the deadline for them to be able to turn in their packages. We are being told that they needed more time to prepare and get some information from TAC. Meanwhile, we've reached out to TAC and requested the information to help speed up the issue. So basically what they're needing, we need to extend this out to June the 17th, 2022. And we are working with the bidders and the judge's assistant on a time frame for a special session to approve the bid selection. And no later than, that will happen no later than June the 30th. And so there will be no lapse, because our current policy will expire July the 1st of 2022 at midnight. So we have 9 different insurance agents that we have reached out to from TAC. There's one in Jasper that's very interesting, and they have really working really closely with them. And I've had to request some information from Ginger on different things and TAC. And we also had to get a lost revenue from TAC. If anybody's interested, the court's interested in seeing that, I can get you guys a copy of it.
Yes.
Or you can see it. That's the lost revenue that we're having to submit to the insurance companies. So I'm asking the court to extend the deadline.
Can you email me that later
I
on?
sure will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You too, Philip?
Thank you. Just email all of
All of us? Okay. That's our lost revenue from TAC. and what they paid us.
So they gotta physically come look at every structure, is that how they're doing this?
No, they basically are just going,
They gonna move off of that?
from our TAC, and they're not gonna come out and look, from what I understand.
So they're gonna assume?
That's, I mean, they didn't ask for an extension to come out or any kind of map to look at the property. They're basically just going, just like when you go get a car, you don't take your car up to the insurance office for them to look at it. They're going off,
What is,
yeah, so.
and they know the problems they're having on there?
Yeah, yes, we've had to reach out and they've been in close contact with that as well.
So
So they're asking for a deadline of June the 17th, Judge.
out of the 9, there's only one that's actually,
We've had actually about 3 that have contacted us. But the one in Jasper has requested more questions than any of the other. Jim Hughes.
Only we got enough to compare.
Yes, sir. And we're actually following up with these others too, just to,
Have backup.
hear a motion to extend the deadline.
I'll make the motion that we extend the deadline for submittal of the request for proposal until June 17th, right?
yes, sir.
June 17th, 2022.
And then we'll have to have a special session after the bid. I'm working with Elizabeth on that.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made, Mr. White, second, Mr. Ponder, we approve the deadline for till June the 17th, 2022. Any discussion? All in favor? Same sign opposed, here none, pass. Your motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made, Mr. Bombi, second, Mr. White, we adjourn.
Okay, I just realized I had no idea that Jim Hughes is Courtney's cousin. So I just want the court to know, I had no idea when we were reaching out. I don't want anybody to think that.
I just want it to be on the record that you didn't know, nobody.
I had no idea.
Since Jim Hughes is my cousin, I don't want to be there to be any kind of assumption that there's a deadline because it's my cousin. I just want to be on the record and
I had
everybody
no idea
know.
because I sat down.
If Jim Hughes is my cousin and we're trying to get the county insured, if he's interested, nobody else knew that. But nobody else knew.
I didn't.
So the deadline is not so that my cousin can get a job or get some kind of favor. Just making it clear.
Yeah, so, anyway, she just told me that.
We also already have some insurance through, First Financial
Yes.
Service of Texas, something like that. Our colonial supplemental insurance is through that, but that's what the employees pay themselves. But we do already have a
Also through that.
Jim Hughes. But it's nothing to do with,
We all recognize the fact that Jim Hughes is an agent, not an insurance company.
Yes.
And the fact is that all of them needed more time.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Yes.
So it wasn't just,
It took 45 to 60 days. That's why we're reaching out to TAC to get the information for them quicker than they could reach out. So. We just need insurance.
Motion been made, Mr. Bombi, and second, Mr. White, we adjourn at 9:45. All in favor?